The average time for a sale to go through will depend on whether the property is freehold or leasehold. With a straightforward freehold purchase or sale, you're looking at around 8 weeks to reach completion, whereas if the property is leasehold, there are going to be third parties to liaise with, such as the landlord and management company, so you can see sometimes that it takes up to 12 weeks to reach completion. Also, if you're buying with a mortgage, then there will be that third party to liaise with again, so that may take a little bit longer to reach completion. And also, if you're buying or selling a property in a chain, we are going to have to ensure that all the parties reach exchange at the same point. So there may be delays if there are certain problems further down or up the chain, and that can cause delays as well. To help speed the sell up, you should ensure that you speak with your estate agent, because they're the only party who are able to speak with the buyer and the seller directly. They're also able to speak with other estate agents in the chain to see how the other sales are progressing, so that's always good for us to know. If you're buying with a mortgage, you should also ensure that you get your mortgage valuation booked in as soon as possible after offering on the property, so that there aren't any delays with getting the mortgage offer out to us. Also ensure that your mortgage lender has the correct spellings of your names, and if you're buying a leasehold property, check that they've got the right term length, and also that they know how much ground rent is payable on the property, as this will all need to be correct in your mortgage offer. And if we find that any of these details are incorrect, we'll have to write to the mortgage lender and ask for a revised offer, which can cause some delays. If you're selling a property, make sure that you produce the deeds to us as soon as possible at the start of the transaction. And if you've had any works done to the property, try and produce the documents from those works to us as soon as possible. It's quite likely that the buyer solicitor is going to ask for these documents at some point, so the earlier you can produce them to us, the better. Unfortunately, sometimes a sale can fall through, and the most common reason for this is usually due to an adverse survey revealing defects with a property which a buyer didn't anticipate and perhaps are financially unable to rectify. Any proposed mortgage lender may also not be prepared to lend on the property once they learn of an adverse defect. If you are buying in a chain, then one party pulling out of their transaction will have a knock-on effect on you, as everybody will need to be in a position to reach exchange of contracts at the same time, so there perhaps will be delays that you didn't expect. When viewing a property, particularly a house, always check with the estate agent whether the property is of a leasehold or a freehold tenure. You might not expect the property to be leasehold, but if it is, then there may be a landlord or a management company involved, which we will need to liaise with throughout the conveyancing procedure. And you also may have to pay a ground rent on the property, although it's likely to be a minimal amount. And if you do require further information before you make the offer on the property, then always speak with your conveyancer who can look into the property for you. If you're buying a flat, also always check what the service charge payments are and the ground rent payments, because they can be quite expensive, and if you're buying with a mortgage, your mortgage lender will need to know these amounts to ensure that they can lend the proposed amount on the property. Also ensure that you ask the estate agent what fittings are included in the sale, and don't always assume that the fitted items are included. If the seller is willing to sell the items, then the estate agent will be able to negotiate the price for you, and then you should always ensure that you tell the conveyancer the amount that's been agreed so that they can add this to the contract and it will be legally binding.